Some metals and metal compounds, when burnt or heated strongly, produce a characteristic colored light. The flame test is based on this principle. The sodium-ion flame is golden yellow. The potassium-ion flame is purple. The calcium-ion flame is brick red. The barium-ion flame is yellow-green. The iron-ion flame is orange-brown. Testing for water. Cobalt chloride paper tests for the presence of water. If water is present, cobalt chloride will change colors from blue to pink. Using anhydrous copper sulfate to test for water. If you add water to white anhydrous copper sulfate, it turns blue again as it goes back to the hydrated form.
Electrolysis of common salt solution. The chloralkali process is an industrial process for the electrolysis of concentrated sodium chloride solutions, which is called brine. It is the technology used to produce chlorine and sodium hydroxide. The electrolytic cell is equipped with two graphite electrodes, which are respectively connected to the cathode and the anode of the direct current. Then hydrogen and chlorine are produced by electrolysis. Common salt is added to the electrolytic cell, and the solution is stirred and tested with a phenolphthalein paper. The test paper remains white, meaning the pH value of the solution is lower than 10. Insert two test tubes containing the salt solution upside down into the graphite electrodes. The graphite electrode on the right is the negative electrode, which is the cathode. The graphite electrode on the left is connected to the positive pole of the power supply, which is the anode. After turning on the power, the voltage being 12 volts, the current passes through the graphite electrodes, and hydrogen is released into the test tube on the right, and chlorine is released into the test tube on the left. Hydrogen is an important material for margarine and rocket fuel. Chlorine can be used as a swimming pool disinfectant, such as bleach, and sodium hydroxide can be used in wastewater treatment to remove heavy metals. Use a phenolphthalein test paper to test the salt solution on the right. The test paper turns from white to pink. The reason is that sodium hydroxide will be produced during the electrolysis process, and as it is an alkaline, the phenolphthalein test paper turns pink. Then use another phenolphthalein test paper to test the salt solution on the left. The test paper remains white. The test tube on the right is filled with hydrogen faster, then seal it with a rubber stopper. The test tube on the left will take more time to fill with chlorine, also seal it with a rubber stopper. Observe the color of the test tubes containing chlorine and hydrogen. Hydrogen on the left is a colorless and odorless gas, where the chlorine on the right has a pungent odor and appears as pale yellow-green. The characteristic of each gas can then be tested by a burning splint to test hydrogen, and a moist pH test paper to test chlorine. Now try to explain why more hydrogen is produced under the same period of time, and why the pink phenolphthalein test paper will fade after a period of time.
Use of chlorine. Chlorine can be used for disinfectant drinking water and pool water. Manufacturing bleach. To form a plastic which is polyvinyl chloride. Uses of hydrogen. Hydrogen reacts with nitrogen to make ammonia, raw materials for the production of fertilizers. Used as fuel. To make artificial butter. Uses of sodium hydroxide solution. Sodium hydroxide can make soap. Neutralize acidic industrial wastewater, and removal of heavy metals from industrial wastewater. The process of paper manufacture.